along with Laura Lee Nistica, to welcome you to our 7th Inside Insight show. In this interview, we will cover the topic of jinn that have either been eradicated or become our genie allies between the 7th of August, 2021, and the 3rd of March, just this year, a week ago. Laura Lee will give some examples of both jinn and genies from her first-hand experiences. But first, I'll give you a background on them, which you can also find in Chapter 6 and 22 of Cryogenetics 2, which were mostly written by an HRT member we'll call AK. So this is from the book, again, page 44. Jinn and genies are magical beings created from fire, unlike humans who were created from clay. There are good jinn and bad jinn, plus bad AI jinn. The jinn were rumored to have been imprisoned by King Solomon. Our team rescued the good jinn in early 2017. They went to rehab and now work for our side. You can identify them and all of us and our helpers by the mark of the cryogenetics egg in their auric field. Call on them for help when needed. As with all our helpers, make sure they wear, again, the mark of the egg before you put any trust in them. So here's more. This is also from chapter 22, page 172. AK, this quote, have always had an affinity for the jinn, despite the horrible things written about them. Jinn were created out of fire, a combo of regular hot fire and cold fire, which is, you can read more about cold fire. I did not know this, but the good jinn were created with the help of omni-magic back home outside the hologram. They are wonderful, beautiful beings, and omni-magic gave them a magic that is their own, with its own rules, to be used only by them. Many were captured and put into the hologram. Duerla, tried to corrupt them but could not. They were kept prisoners in canopic-style jars, which are lamps. Wicked Solomon and a couple others used them in the mines within which they were later imprisoned. When the jinn could not be corrupted, Duerla had her own digital version created. This digital magic mimics that of the real jinn. They're also known as AI or false jinn, and they do not wear the mark of the cryogenetics egg in their auric field. The real jinn were rescued in the early summer of 2018. They went to the infirmary and then more training. They now wear the mark in their auras. They are great allies and are working with us on a regular basis. Oh, and on another note, Muslims hate and fear the jinn. They hate them as much as pigs and dogs and fear them more. One of the main components of their creation was purity. If asked, the jinn will work with you. They are autonomous beings who think and act for themselves. They are individuals and have no master, although they are loyal to those they deem worthy of their loyalty. They may question your methods and offer better ones. Their advice is generally sound and worth listening to. They can go places and do things we would never be able to do. They have also cleaned up most of the false or AI jinn. So I'll let Laura Lee take it away with her some first-hand
experiences.
Experiences.
Well, that was good, and again, her quote was taken out of Cryogenetics 2 from one of the contributors, AK, and you can read more about that in Cryogenetics 2. But this, what I'm going to tell you about now, is taken from my journal notes on the 21st of August of 2021. I woke up with the words psychic control system. I need to find that. And when that happened, I'm like, what the heck is that? It sounds pretty pretty intense. And I sat outside and got this info. It is on another planet somewhere in the corner or hidden pocket of the galaxy. And the main operation is on this planet. It causes brainoids and thought pluckers. It insulates you from your authentic guides, guardians, and memories of who you really are. It projects doubt and insecurity. Its number one target is the HRT or Hologram Rescue Team. Number two is indigos and infrareds. And number three is the Cosmic Cleanup Crew or CCC. The system has been there since the beginning. The D-Monster or Durareless set it up. It sends out misinformation and blocks true info to cause confusion and conflict with us and everyone else, but it really wants the HRT to be in conflict. It dictates who can be psychic, when they can be psychic, and how they can be psychic. And this last thing I got was that an evil jinn, a threat level 9.8, was in charge. 90% of the help of its help comes from the AI and cryptos, with 10% jinn, creepsters, ghost gangsters, and deep state heavily being involved. We have successfully found ways of overriding this, but it still is a serious threat. I stand and our HRT are running only on 5% of our capacity. I have been too exhausted to work on it today, but at least I got this much information. So when this happened, it helped me to see better why things have been so challenging, having this psychic control system on. And I know a lot of you listening have felt like you've had your psychic antennas clipped and you're just running on half your cogs, and that's because it's true, or it was true. And since then, we have been able to locate some of this. Let me read what happened like 7 days later. But hold on, I'm getting thirsty. Do you have any comments or anything so far on that, Nancy?
No.
Okay. So then on the 27th, like about a week later, one of my clients from Berlin said that an entity named Kranach, dressed in monk's robes, was messing with her psychically, and some RWS or really weird shit was going on in her abdomen. He was the same guy or master that gave her a box, or get this, the cube of Metatron on the solstice of 2020, and he wanted her to turn it on. She did, and it started to spin, and colorful lights and fractals came out, and she felt the inner power of the cube. So after she's telling me this stuff, I'm getting really creepazoids on this, and so I asked her to check the energy of the cube, and she said it felt good, and it is now in good hands. And I'm like, that ain't right. So then I asked her to go into her core with her Summa and be very neutral and check again. She did that, and then she gasped and said, "It is in the hands of Kranach." I said, "Yeah, I thought so," and told her to take the glamour off it and look at the box, examine it. And she did that, and I said, check the smell if you have to. I said, really examine this. Get your smellers out if you have to. Then she said she saw an upside down pyramid, a Statue of Liberty, and a vortex tornado. Then I heard control system. And then I realized it was connected to the psychic control system. I got that she was only one of 3 people that had the keys and the abilities to turn this box on. Now, the joke is the box, I found out, was fake, and it had fail safes in it, and the tech in it was to self-destroy or self-destruct and take to zero the entire network all the way up to the 9.8 level jinn that was spearheading this psychic control system. Once the self-destruct was initiated, apparently it was me that initiated it, within 9 seconds the entire system was wiped out along with all of the assholes in the system. And of course, they were given their karma, which seemed like eternity to them, but it was only 9 seconds. And then they were gone. I checked over and over and over for residue, and there was none. It was a very thorough job. I told her that this was a sting operation and that her and her Suma did an excellent job, and that she could not know on a conscious level what was going on, or it might compromise the mission. This makes sense, as I was getting that once I got all my duckies in a row, it would be only a few minutes to handle this psychic control system and the Genie that was spearheading it or over it. So it's really interesting how it all came to be. It's like I got the words, you need to find the psychic control system, and then it kind of went off my radar. Then I get this client a week later, and there it is. So it really was nice for me to see how our home team is helping us bring things in at just the right time. And like I said, get your duckies in a row, make sure everything's perfect, and then we move in. So that's my story. I do have another Genie story, actually a jinn story, that is, or a Genie story. Well, they're both involved. One of my clients, this was just a couple of days ago, and she was just really distraught. Her daughter was having all sorts of problems, and problems at work, and going to work and school, and financial problems, and her husband was having problems, and he hated his job, and they just felt like, what's the use? They just, were depressed and just wanted to end it all. Which is interesting, because I'm finding a lot of people have been feeling this way, and we've been taking things down. It's like almost every day we take things down that are trying to depress us into taking ourselves out. And so if any of you out there are feeling that way, just know that we're working on it, and there may be other reasons other than, just being, it's not all just you. There's a lot of horrible things trying to make everybody distraught and want to give up and throw in the towel, especially the ones that have the ability to really do something about these dark lords. So just kind of keep that in mind. So as I was kind of looking at this, I found out that at the head of this, and she was wondering if it was this guy. She's had this shaman guy on her tail for a long time, and ever since she started working with me, he really upped his game, and has been really on her, because she's I've given her tools and things to up her game, which makes him feel like he's losing his grip on her. And he's been, she's known him for like 20, 30 years. It's been a long time. And he's, this guru. Everybody thinks he's, just all that in a bag of chips. And yeah, I'm thinking buffalo chips. So, when I was tuning into this, I found out that he had 4 spirit shaman, um, like really having his back and helping him. You know, he's not as adept as he thinks he is. He's got all these high level shamans helping him. Plus, there was one major one kind of hiding in the background. And I'm like, okay, gotcha, guy. Um, so after I figured out, you know, who's doing what and why, all of a sudden the genies came in and they said, hey, you know, we can help you out. And I'm like, okay, that would be just super duper. Um, and what what they were helping me do is neutralize this shaman's magics and the shamans in spirit that were helping him. What we did is we stealthily egged them all 5 of them, plus the shaman in the physical body. And the stealth eggs, they didn't even know they were egged, which is really cool how the eggs can do that. You can egg somebody and they don't know, especially if you're um, hunting them down and you need them not to run away. You need to keep them like in a well, I can't even think of the word. It's like, yeah, quarantine, but so they can't move, you know, so they're just, you know, stuck. So then what they did is they neutralized all of their magics. So they go to do magic and it's like nothing happens. Or, and this is really funny, they get the opposite of what they're trying to do. And so after we did that, then these shamans that were helping him, and especially the one in the background, were not nice. They were just using him so he could use other people so that they could get power and loosh. And I'm like, okay, you know, that game's gonna quit. So we rounded them up, gave them their karma, got their intel, and they don't exist. And when I did this, this client of mine, she just started to laugh, and it's like her whole countenance changed after we were able to do this. And she says, you know, what's interesting about that is that he thinks that his Native American shaman magic is the highest level. That she said he wouldn't even begin to imagine going into and investigating any other kind of magic. And you know, it's interesting because I find that's kind of true with a lot of people that are into these spiritual things. They think theirs is the only one, and they don't realize there is so much magic out there. There's so many different brands. It's like, you know, pick a brand. There's new kinds of magics coming out. There's each, it seems like each culture has their own magic, and they all kind of run on a different system. And so for somebody to be arrogant enough to think that their magic is the top of the line is really arrogant. So I just thought that was all really funny. And we'll just, I'll give you an update on that when you know, it's only been a day. So I usually like to wait 72 hours and see how things are and see how my client's daughter's doing. And we'll just kind of give you an update later. But I just thought it was really funny that my genies came and said, hey, let us help you. And because normally you have to ask them, but since some of these genies were some that I had helped rescue, they're, you know, it's like a symbiotic relationship. And you know, and with genies, with our genies, instead of like the old ones you read in cryogenetics where they do deal works, they don't have networks and they don't do anything without making a deal. Well, our genies, all they want is love and warm fuzzies. And what a cool symbiotic relationship that is. It's like, yeah, we'll help you out, and you just give us warm fuzzies and hugs, and we'll just be happy as a clam. So I just I just thought that was a real cute story. So okay, I'm done. You can go on to what you got in there, Nancy.
Okay. Well, there's been a few updates since we got our genies. We have 8 of them since about early September until, let's see, our latest one was the 2nd of March. So, and they're just so enthusiastic and ready to help. I just love them.
I do too.
Yeah, let's see. So just a few updates that I kind of abstracted from our thread. And so some people were wondering if the genies could have children. But Laura Lee, you want to answer that one?
You know, anything's possible. It's really different, and I need to investigate that a little bit more. What have you got so far on that, Nancy?
Let's see, from the 5th, I have that you wrote, I'm getting that the offspring are called something else, not Nephilim. They would be mutants and not jinn, as all jinn are conjured beings. And then you wrote that needs to be addressed. So yeah.
Right. I'm still looking at that, and the words mutant is kind of explains it. It's like it's different. It's not like it was before. It's like, you know, these jinn have been around for eons, and now it's like there's a new playing field. So I'll kind of work on that. I haven't had time to really get into that, but we'll do a Genie update soon. Okay.
Right. Well, we have a bunch of them. So we decided that we were going to have Genie Appreciation Day, March 3rd, because that's when all the jinn were eradicated. That's 44 jinn. 8 of whom became genies, so 53 altogether. And I must commend you, Laura. Back in early August, 7th of August, you had predicted 52, and that looks like exactly the number. I don't know how you do it.
Oh, that's funny. I don't either. I get a lot of help from Hal because, you know, I ain't that smart, girl.
I mean, right on the nose. So another person wrote that the genies can get sick if they work for the dark side. That's interesting.
That's cool.
And Laura Lee wrote, our genies won't try to trick us, but they may try to trick any ego we might have in us. Our sumas are more than happy to work with them. And then to go back in time to September, Laura Lee wrote, ask a genie for 3 wishes, but with no conditions or loopholes. Maybe this will help us start working with our genies who only ask for, as she already said, love and warm fuzzies. So I thought that was a wonderful win-win.
Yeah.
Deal with no hidden agendas. So she wrote, collaborate with our genies on this deal, and when they help us manifest whatever it is we need, we can inundate them with love and give each other warm fuzzies on our HT to put a, let's see, to give each other a thumbs up. And this gives us fuel to continue on with more power and steam. It's just that the genies needed to know that this was the deal. I help you manifest, and you give me warm fuzzies. This is how the benevolent genies operate. Well, I'm just so glad to have them.
I am too. It just makes you happy
to. Than the next.
It just makes you happy to get up in the morning and think, oh, maybe a Gina will hang out with me today.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know what made them decide to become good genies. Maybe people get sick and tired of being badasses. I don't know.
Well, and I think some of them had some goodness in them to begin with, or I don't know. Each one of them has their own story. So I guess, you know, it's not one size fits all, just like about everything else. So,
Yeah.
so have you got
I
some
mean,
more there?
there was one from named Moja from the 26th of February who was contracted, probably coercively by the dark side, to make kids and other innocent people sick. But he just wasn't into it. And he actually came to a child to help him get away from that. An HRT member's 6-year-old boy. So that Genie is helping that little boy with some things. And yeah, it's just, yeah, they're practically lining up. There was one that listened to our Inside Insights interview from the 15th of January. I don't know if that was our third or what. And he was easily cleaned up and rehabbed and converted to a Genie, and he helps us now with the Inside Insights. He helps us with interference, to run interference for us.
Cool.
Well, I just want to celebrate these Genies. They're new allies. How are we doing on time?
Let's see. We got maybe 4 more minutes or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So we could talk about what's coming up.
yeah, well, the Genies are allies, and we have more allies, the latest of which are 100 monkeys. And so we want to talk about allies. They're astounding. So many have joined us just since the book was published 6 months ago. And believe me, you won't want to miss anything on them. Also, a big subject was about how it's safe to get our memories back. Do you want to say something about that before we say goodbye?
Well, do you know what? This is a different phone, and it's like going out. So, I'll just say that there's something that we'll talk about that it is now safe to get our memories back, and we'll do that on another show because it's kind of involved, but it's great. So just know it's okay if you felt like you weren't that it wasn't safe. Well, it is now, and we'll explain that in a future show, probably the next show.
All right. So, okay, well, we'll say goodbye, and if you're loving the Genie, come back and we'll tell you about lots of other.
That's right. Okay, there's my second alarm. I guess it's time to go. Okay, everybody, have a good one, and we will see you again real soon. We don't know when that is, but we'll see you soon. Okay, bye.
Bye, thank you. Bye now.